Channing Jr. and his circle must have felt as if the world revolved around him that evening. And in a way it did. His face was on every newsstand in the country. The acclamation was worldwide, actually. Another stunning success in a short lifetime of stunning successes. But nothing was really what it seemed to be. For someone among the celebrants would soon become a killer. And our young champion's appetite for honor was superseded by his desire to ruin the lives of several of the guests. You served a huge cake at the party that night, Mr. C. It had a figure of a horse and rider on top, had 7 layers. But it struck me that it hardly compared to the layers of intrigue at work in this house. That morning, the morning of the day he was killed, Channing asked several people to meet with him here. Those people are in this room. They came to him one by one, and none of them, as far as I can tell, was aware of the others. These meetings weren't spur-of-the-moment kind of things. They were each of them well-planned, down to the last twist of the knife. The press was coming to enjoy the good food, but they'd have been delighted, I'm sure, had they realized that young Channing intended to blast his party right off of the society pages and into the headlines. You see, he warned each of his visitors that he had heavy ammunition to use against them. Let them know he was going to mow them down with it come evening. Even went so far as to make it clear how thoroughly he was planning to enjoy the bloodletting.
Oh, wait a minute. Cruz, I gave you credit for being a responsible investigator. Now you're just putting a show on here at the expense of my dead son.
I'm telling it like it happened, Mr. C.
But Channing is not here to defend these insinuations and this slander.
Who did he meet with, Cruz?
I'm getting to that. Channing himself wrote all this down in his journals.
He wasn't that kind of person.
I'm afraid you're going to have to face some rather unpleasant facts about him. I'm sorry.
What are you saying? That Channing brought all this on himself? What happened to him?
Not necessarily, though the thought does cross one's mind. You see, Channing was brilliant, handsome, gifted. A lot of people were drawn to him. Many of them loved him. But he was also another man, an angry, bitter, often lonely young one who saw every friend as a competitor, and every competitor inevitably as an enemy, who needed so desperately to win that he couldn't take the time to enjoy his triumphs.
I don't know this person that you're describing.
He didn't want you to. He was afraid you'd be disappointed in him.
You always knew I loved him.
As long as he did what you wanted, as long as he was a winner.
That's not true.
Maybe not, but it's what he believed. It's what made him run, Mr. C, and kept him running. In fact, he wrote in his journal that seeing your face when he won the world championship was worth the agony of riding with broken ribs.
I was never so proud of it.
Making you proud was all he cared about.
Oh, you're wrong. Channing was ambitious for himself. Pleasing me was only part of it.
Pleasing you was the whole show. This whole thing, the revelation of all these dastardly deeds, was for your benefit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Giddy up, Uncle Stacy. Daddy.
What is it, Brent?
Can I put this on?
It's one of Channing's medals. Were you in his room?
There were lots and lots of them. I like this one because it's so shiny.
Brandon, you weren't supposed to be in his room.
But the door was open this time.
Well, it shouldn't have been.
I told you I needed it open, Mr. C.
You've told me a lot of things today that don't make much sense. Now, Brandon, son, will you take this back into his room, and then please, I don't want you to go in there again.
I want to be just like Channing and win everything. Wouldn't that be nice? You'd be so happy, wouldn't you?
Yes, I will. We'll talk about that later.
But do I still have to put the medal back right away?
Oh, you can play for it. You can play with it for a while.
Thanks, Daddy.
All right, well, let's get on with this. We've wasted too much time already.